Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. This 2 weeks I've been using the tags set. It's a bundle with tags, stamps and the dies that cut them out. And if you do buy the bundle, don't forget, get them together and get 10% off. It's really quite a neat set because, sorry about that noise. What it is a set of photopolymer tags, which I love photopolymer because you can see where to place things really easily. You can see through and onto your cardstock. It doesn't matter what colour your cardstock is, you can see through. And what you do is you stamp this whole piece and then use the matching dies to cut out the whole piece. So you're left with not just one tag, but 3 at a time. Let's pop that back. And in my first video, which was part of the Global Hop, you will have seen that I made a card. I haven't got everything here at the moment, but I made a gift tag. I was making little 3D Halloween treat boxes. I made a card. I made some Valentine's tags. I made all sorts of things because it is so versatile and it doesn't do just one holiday. It's got Halloween, it's got Valentine's and it's got Christmas holiday. So I wanted to show you how I made the card. It really is easy. I used the Christmas set of tags. So this one, I've cut those out of course, but I haven't used them yet. So here's the little elf one, and I don't know quite where the Season's Greetings one is at the moment, somewhere under my things on my desk. But you don't have to use them all at the same time. I'm using them on different projects, and as I go along I'll use one and then show you what I can make with it. So it's the Christmas side that I'm using. What I do like about this as well is, look, it's got these little tiny dies. And these will make little embellishments, and they're great for shaker cards and things. You can add those into a shaker. You don't need to buy extra sequins or anything. These will fit in. Just cut them out different colours, you know, some sparkly glimmer paper, some just plain cardstock, little pieces of DSP, whatever you want, but it makes great shaker confetti. So the card I'm making uses both the tags set and the perfectly plaid set. And I thought, because the little tag had birds and trees, I thought I would use the tree side of the DSP. And then once I'd used that, I thought, oh, I need to use the stamps as well. So I've used 2 sets of things. You certainly don't have to. If you want to just use this, you could always put a sentiment across here, or you could, you know, have this lowered and put just a piece of ribbon across here with a bow on or something. You certainly don't need 2 stamp sets. But seeing as I have 2 stamp sets and I had them out, this is what I'd come up with. So let me tell you how we make it. First, I had a piece of cherry cobbler card, and it was already cut. I don't usually make cards this way. If they're going to stand up, I will cut them differently because I don't always like this because it will splay a little bit once it's displayed for a while. But I'd cut the card the wrong way, and so this is why I used this cardstock this way. And this is the other half of it. So it's just a piece of 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2 and folded it. And then I cut 2 pieces of Whisper White at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm making it slightly different to this one in that I'm going to have another layer behind. I'm going to have the white layer. So I've already attached one white layer for inside, and this is the one for the outside. So let's have that attached as well. I'm not going to attach the other layers yet because I want to put some twine behind, and I don't want the twine sticking out at the side here. So my other layer is Night of Navy, and I've cut that at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, so it's just a tiny bit smaller. Oh, let's get rid of that little bit of fluffy bit on the edge. Probably going to need a new blade in my trimmer. There, so it will just make that little border, whereas you can see this one, it has a wider red border and then the narrow blue one. Okay, so we'll pop that on one side. We don't need that for the moment, but we do need DSP. And what I've done is I've chosen 2 pieces from the Wrapped in Plaid suite, the 6x6 paper. I've got the one with the green and red plaid and the like the little stars on the back, and I've cut them so that the red piece is the larger piece cut at 3 3/4 by 3 1/2, and the little star piece is 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. And if you were just to put them on here, you would see that they're too long. I've allowed a little bit for just overlapping, so that you know if the paper isn't cut quite straight, you're not going to see a little bit of the underneath layer of card through it. So let's attach those. You can put these on with any glue that you want. You know how much I love Fast Fuse, and even though we can't buy it anymore, I do still have some in stock. I thought I'd run out one day. I had a terrible nightmare, but actually I found it was in a different drawer, so that was okay. Okay. And we're just going to leave that tiny border all the way around. And let's put this one on. I do often use my snail for this as well, but really wet glue is about the best if you're trying to line things up, because it doesn't dry straight away and it gives you that little bit of wriggle room, so that if you need to move something quickly, you can. Okay, now I'm actually going to line this up so I've got that tiny edge at the bottom, rather than doing it the other way and placing it over the DSP to start with. There. And now I know that it's level top and bottom, and you can't tell. See, that's that tiny little bit under there. You can't actually tell that there's an overlap at all. It doesn't make it bulky or anything. Right, let's find the tag that I'd coloured. Oh, I haven't coloured. The tag that I cut and inked, but I haven't coloured. And I'm going to quickly colour. I've got my dark cherry cobbler for the birds, and really it takes no time at all to colour these. Oh, I nearly coloured his beak in red then. There we go. And then I've got Mango Melody for the little touch of his beak. And I'm going to do his little legs on that one yellow. And then I've got the dark crumb cake for my trees. Oh, I won't use the brush end. I'll use the narrow end again. See, I'm not even taking much time to colour. If you don't have this, you could use watercolour pencils, or you could use like the aqua paint brush just dipped onto the edge of an ink pad. Just use whatever you have. I'm just going to go over a little bit more, so some of it's got a little bit more depth than others. See a little bit of white there. And then I don't have the marker pen in black, so I'm just going to use my Stampin' Write marker just to do those little eyes with. There. That's it for colouring. Whoops. It was a quick colouring session. Okay, now next I'm going to put my twine on. I've got white baker's twine and I've cut 3 pieces. They're just a rough length. I wanted them to be able to go through these holes on the back and have enough room for tying. These are actually probably a bit too big. I'm just going to thread it in from the back. and then out. And I'm going to do all three the same. So from the top, across the back, and out again. Last one, and from the back, through and out. And then I'm just going to tie a knot, just an overhand knot. I'm not measuring where I'm doing the knot or anything. Okay, then what you need to decide is roughly how much you want to be out off the side of the tag. If you can see here, look, I tied the knot and I just wanted a little bit, sort of quarter, half an inch over here. So rather than try and work out quarter of an inch over here and then tie it and my knot being too big or in the wrong place, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly tie it. So I know I need about that much, but it doesn't matter if it's not that much. So I'm going to put those through there. Whoops, let's pull all those through. Okay, now then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to even it out so that it looks like there's the same amount of twine before the knot at both sides. You just pull it along until you get it in the right place for you. Okay, let's turn it round. Oh, I don't need that for colouring anymore. Okay, now that looks about level to me. I'm just going to pop a little bit of tear and tape on the back, just turn it over. There. Again, you see the knots are roughly in the same place without having to do an awful lot of measuring or faffing about. Okay, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back and I'm going to take this tear and taped topping off and put my dimensionals on. Now I know that the tear and tape will be still sticky, but if you don't take that topping off, what will sometimes happen is, because the tape is still over, once you put your dimensional on and then move, you know, have it stuck on, it might undo the tape topping and it takes your dimensional off as well, and you end up with it not being as sticky as you would like. So I always just have that precaution of taking the backing off. If you wanted to use just like snail or something underneath instead of tear and tape, that works as well. Let's take these off. I hope you've had time to look at some of the other ladies' blog videos. I get to see some of them a little bit early, just because of the group that I'm in, and some people will post little ideas, and they really did make some nice things this time. Okay, so that's that stuck on roughly in the middle. Now this, I'm just going to put, you can either use tear and tape, I'm just going to put fast fuse on. You can use snail. Wet glue might take a little bit longer to dry and make it a bit more difficult, but certainly doable. Okay, then I'm going to separate these three twines. Oops. Just spread them out a little bit and tuck them at the back so that they're gluing and sticking on. Just so you get this little effect. Okay, I'm going to do the same at this side. I just like to make sure that they're level and straight before I do actually stick them down. Oops. There. Okay. And then I'm going to take some of the tails off the back because we don't need it quite that long. Okay, now let's find our card base again. I'm going to put tear and tape on this one to glue it down, just because I know it will hold the card and the twine together. But if you don't want to use tear and tape, you could still use snail, and that would work as well. Just, I like to have those doubly secure. I don't want them to pop off and the knot to come undone or anything. Okay, I'm going to put a piece down the middle as well. I'm going to take the back ends off these. If you can't get this off with your nail, I often use my paper piercer and take the lid off, and then I'll just go under and pick off the top like this. If you've got any tear and tape overhanging like this, just put it under with your finger. Go round and make sure that there's no more sticking out. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that this has got that nice little border all the way around. If you used a thicker twine or a ribbon and it was too thick to glue down like this, just pop this on dimensionals. That will, you know, stop it from bowing or anything, and it will look really pretty too. Okay, so next thing, we need just these two trees. And what I've done is I've got a piece of scrap Night of Navy and a piece of scrap crumb cake and my inks. I'll just get the tree that I need. And I've been using this one. Excuse me, I'll just find a little block. Pop that on there. Let's do the crumb cake one first, because that was on the top. Okay. Oh, I got some on my finger, that's why it's printed some more there. Just clean that little stamp up. I don't want the brown to transfer into the navy ink. Just tap. You don't need to push hard on these ink pads. Okay, clean that one again. Pop the ink away because we don't need any more. And then I'm just going to get the little matching punch. I've actually used this punch quite a lot, not with any stamped images. It makes really nice solid trees. I've got some with my little snowman set. I've been folding them to make little 3D embellishments, either out of DSP or out of card, and it hasn't bothered me to have the stamps all the time. So if you can, if you can't afford to buy the bundle of those, just go for one. Use the punch with some of the plaid paper or different papers that are sort of Christmas colours, and you don't always need to have the stamp set straight away as well. So here we are. Let's take the backs off this Night of Navy one. And I just like because it matches the little trees on here as well. Now this one, we're only going to put down this side. I'm going to turn it over, and I know it's that left-hand side nearest to me. And I'm just going to put two on like that. I'm not going to worry about the top. And then I'm just going to move it along until I feel that the blue tree is just touching onto the dimensionals. And that's where I'm going to put it. There we are. So there we are. A really easy, quick little card using a tag. And who would know that that was really a tag? When they get that card, nobody would. So there we are. I hope you like those. I think I like the one with the white border best. I wish I'd done that in my original card and had that as well. but that's still pretty. So thank you very much for watching me, everybody. Next time, I think the video will be making the gift tags. So I hope to see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.